Andrew Brandt, Sports Illustrated columnist, and he's a former Packer executive. He was there for Favre. He was there with Aaron Rodgers' draft. Let me start with that, Andrew. If I said right now, start a franchise, and you have to give him a 7-year contract, Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Josh Allen.
Not where I thought we were going. Morning, Dan.
Morning.
I'm going to go with the new kid on the block, Justin Herbert.
Do you mean that if you're on the clock right now and all three are available, and this has nothing to do with your roster, just that quarterback, you're taking, you know what Mahomes is, you sort of know what Allen and Herbert are, a smaller sample size, and you're going to invest in Herbert or Josh Allen before Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah. I mean, listen, you just mentioned Favre and Rodgers. I'm a strong believer that quarterback is an arm position. Now, all those guys have cannons, all they do. I'm just thinking this guy's got the biggest cannon because you can coach all the other stuff. You can't coach arm strength at a high level. And again, tiny sample size. Of the three big arms there, I'm thinking Herbert may have the biggest arm. That's where I'm going.
Well, I think Josh Allen has the biggest arm, but keep in mind, these three guys all had big question marks coming in. We didn't even think that Justin Herbert was going to play, that he was going to sit. Josh Allen had no real success going into the NFL. I mean, he played at Wyoming. And then Patrick Mahomes, we thought he was sort of a Brett Favre wannabe. And then here they are, maybe the top three quarterbacks.
Dan, you just said something there. No one sits, right? No one sits. We had Aaron Rodgers sit 3 years. That will go down to me as the longest sitting of a first-round quarterback ever. That's why I think Jordan Love will be the quarterback there next year. But listen, Mahomes sat a while, but no one sits. I mean, you say Justin Herbert, I know with the injection of Tyrod Taylor, but he wasn't going to sit. And all five rookie quarterbacks are playing right now. No one sits anymore.
Yeah, but they should. Like, I don't think Trey Lance is ready to play.
But they don't.
I know.
This Garoppolo and Andy Dalton, and I'm like, and I admit it. I'm like, why? You're like, what are you gaining by having those guys play? Now, I know the guy's going to be raw and rookie and make mistakes, and Fields and Lance, but they're going to make mistakes whether they start now in November, December, or 2022.
All right. Let me get to the topic I wanted to talk to you about because you've been on fire on Twitter. So Andrew Brandt, Sports Illustrated columnist, host of Business is Sports podcast, former Packers executive, and director of Villanova's sports law and business program. You said in a tweet that Gruden was sacrificed for the greater good, and in parentheses, put NFL owners in there. Who sacrificed him and why?
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Let me explain. I just don't get this. For people who haven't been following this closely, this is an inquiry into the Washington Football Club toxic workplace, sexual harassment by a law firm hired to do this. Yet, a ESPN broadcaster from emails 10 years ago is the emails that we see. That's the information that comes out of this. Can't debate the emails. Obviously repugnant, reviled, gone. Consequences. Right. But why this? And why not others? And why not more? Someone somewhere wanted this out, wanted Gruden gone, maybe wanted DeMaurice Smith saved last week, whatever the reasons. I don't know what the greater interests are here. But to me, this is a sacrifice for something else not coming out, for diversion to this story rather than other stories like this continuing toxic workplace story in Washington. I don't know, Dan. Listen, last week, DeMaurice Smith is having a vote on his reelection the day emails come out, which are very damaging to him, or which are very offensive to him. This week, Gruden continues to coach during the weekend and more drip, drip, drip of emails, and he's out. What's going on here? And I guess my question is, will the drip, drip, drip continue beyond John Gruden?
Okay, if I'm the commissioner and this was leaked under my watch, and I don't know how many people had access to these emails, but these are, I believe, senior executives who comb through these emails. It doesn't take me long to call roll to say, let's come in here because we had somebody who leaked this information. Does Roger Goodell care that somebody leaked this information?
I think he has to. Any leader is going to worry about loose lips sinking ships.
He hasn't said anything publicly.
Yeah, I think that's what we need. All we've had is a statement from their PR guys saying we didn't leak it. Now, this is going to have to be addressed. This is going to have to be addressed because at some point he's got to address what's coming out of Washington, right? And yes, I think we need statements here beyond, Gruden screwed up. So that's why I use this word sacrifice. And I don't mean to be dramatic with it. I just don't get this. There's more to this story. And be careful what you wish for, I guess, to whoever's leaking it. But here's a question, Dan. Answer me this. I know we've asked questions. What if emails surface from an owner?
Oh, I know.
Making misogynistic, racist comments. Are we firing the owner? Are we firing the owner because we just fired Gruden?
Well, I think that's what's involved here. I think you have. Why wouldn't there be correspondence between owners? Jerry Jones and Dan Snyder are best friends. I think that there was a coup that they were trying to get rid of Roger Goodell a couple of years ago. Do I think that they corresponded in email, perhaps, to say things about Roger Goodell? I mean, it almost feels like Roger Goodell's protecting the owners from the owners.
Yeah, listen, for people who don't know, and I think everyone knows by now, Roger Goodell is paid and hired by the owners. This idea of this players commissioner, and I know we have some of that with the NBA, but no, they're his constituents. He's there to serve them, and he's done a great job on the business. Business is booming. It's better than ever right now. The NFL has multi-year deals both with labor and with media. They're set. So for whatever reason, they wanted these emails out about Gruden, and they were sent to the Washington club with Bruce Allen. That's what's so weird here. We don't see responses back from Allen. We don't see anything else from Washington going that way to Gruden. Lot to ask.
But legally,
yeah,
can anybody file anything that brings out these emails that makes them public?
Yeah, it's funny because we got something going on in St. Louis litigation where they filed discovery requests for that. This is not a lawsuit. That's the difference. This is a investigation which is done by a Washington, D.C. law firm, which seems to be taken over surreptitiously, I think, by the league. So that seems hardly independent.
And also, did John Gruden have his agent present when he decided to step down? And is there a payoff here? Did he get paid for the rest of this? I don't know. Yeah. It just seems like Mark Davis shows up and says, John, you got to step down. You can't be a distraction. And then what?
I don't think for a minute he's leaving behind. He's leaving with zero. Okay. So I think there have been a lot of negotiations which may still be ongoing. Say he has, pick a number, 50, 60 million left on that deal. Believe you me, Dan, he's not walking away with zero. So listen, he could be a thorn in the NFL side here. He could be. He says, well, here's what I got back, or here's what I know. And I think he's being paid off as part of a settlement, and part of it's going to be an NDA. No disparaging comments, nothing else coming out of this. He's not getting 50, 60 million, believe me, but he's not walking away with nothing. So it's some number where his agent, I think it's still Bob Lamont, who I dealt with for years. There's this whole Andy Reid tree, includes Gruden, Mike Holmgren tree, that includes Reid and Gruden, where all these coaches have Bob Lamont and lawyers working for them.
Does this get worse in the coming weeks? Are we done with it?
So. The NFL hopes not. I mean, the hopes that this is the end. But listen, I think I think me, I think everyone in national media would like to know more. Obviously, fans and the public. But this is, I guess I talk about sacrifice. Did the NFL, whoever leaked this, really think we'd sort of brush it off and say, let's go on to the next topic? I think the NFL thinks that.
I think they're hoping that. Yeah, I think they're hoping that.
I think transparency breeds trust. I get emails from people like they're like the mafia. Well, the mafia has secrets. When you have secrets, you're going to get those kind of comments.
Great to touch base with you. Keep stirring it up on Twitter, Andrew. Thanks for joining us as always.
Always a pleasure, Dan. Talk soon.
That's Andrew Brandt, Sports Illustrated columnist and host of Business as Sports podcast, a former Packers executive and director of Villanova's Sports Law and Business Program.